Welcome to TradeTheNBA.com. This is John's report is for the 17th of November. Well, we continue that positive stretch, albeit a bit more modest. We're still coming up against that resistance right here around the 45.45 on the ES. But everything's still pretty clean. Shorts not really active at all in this setup when we look at the DOC or even from an NBI reading. It's just pretty consistent, solid. Certainly we are in positive extreme area for some of these, so when there is weakness, we know where things are likely to fade to. From an NQ standpoint, pretty similar. A little bit softer from a MBI reading here as the magenta is starting to get a little narrow, but still cyan well under red, and pretty positive growth from MBI. DOC. I was looking at the red DOC here with the green. Short-term buyers faded off a little bit, and that's probably why we're not seeing a whole lot of strong movement. But nonetheless, this really, like I said before, is a bull run setup because the shorts really aren't active. That's problematic because it's usually what shorts help drive those big bursts like we saw earlier, and that makes a difference. From a Treasury standpoint, pretty neutral as far as being right back in line with where the Fed is with things. So everybody's just waiting on data, but the more you see this kind of setup with oil dipping, that's a significant positive to the market, and that's going to help keep things propelling. That should also aid the euro. Gold making an interesting comeback within what would considerably be seen as more neutral, but that's just sort of a kind of effect because it's sort of been soft in general relative to what we've seen from cryptos and everything else. So gold has some catching up to do, so to speak. From a crypto space, just back and forth right now and still holding above that 76 and just sort of easing off on its relative big jump in positive extremes. And as long as it remains positive, then we can see that you should get a little bit of a positive tint here because of the DOC moving back above the steel moving back above negative 13.5. That usually will be enough to give it a little bit more of a push or at least sustain where it's at. From an ETH standpoint, definitely softer. We just certainly got the crossovers beginning, and you have that steel, even though it's reset all the way under negative 13.5. That creates a little bit more of a problematic. Of course, when that steel gets back above, that should be enough to find support there. So 61 looks like a pretty safe bet at that particular setup. From a 50K standpoint, long there, it took the little dip that we ended up right here and bought that one again, and see pretty strong numbers from a MBI readings, and still maintaining cyan under red. So all those are maintaining positive setups. From a 5K tick standpoint, let's get to the current setup right there. You can see that European session already starting out from a positive stint, and wherever there's been weakness, we just get the buybacks coming through. So this is about clearing general stops and then returning back to the upside of things. So kind of benign, but overall, reading's still pretty clear from it, and that bull bias continues. Nothing has changed at this particular stage, so it's going to take some kind of relative change in either significant downturn in data, but just being soft is not enough to stop this at this particular stage, because you're just going to get that climb of the wall of fear, so to speak, and that's generally pretty normal for holiday period without anything materializing from all the negative bias that was built into some of the geopolitical situations. So we'll just continue to follow it as it goes, and when we start to see material changes, we'll let you know. But for now, the bulls are still in charge, and that's the long and the short of it. As always, though, I'll update you on in the skip chat with anything relevant. Have a good one. Trade well.